You probably know what an SMP is by now, and you probably also noticed that the SMP format on YouTube has exploded in relevance over the past couple years. Servers like the Dream SMP, Hermitcraft, and the Lifesteal SMP have all contributed to the massive rush of popularity in this side of Minecraft, and SMPs are only getting bigger. But if you've ever tried to create an SMP yourself, you'll find that it's a lot harder than you think. Making and managing an SMP comes with a set of unique problems that not many servers can overcome. The SMPs that are in the mainstream today face these same issues and manage to come out on top. But for the overwhelming majority of survival multiplayer servers, that isn't true. So what issues are causing SMPs to fail, and why is it so hard to beat these issues? Well, after taking my own experience on a survival server and noting observations from other servers, I've come up with 3 solid reasons. These reasons are linked to each other, and together they brought about the fall of countless survival servers. This is why Minecraft SMPs usually fail. Starting with what's probably the biggest reason: losing motivation. When a new SMP starts, there's loads of hype and excitement to play on the server and grind with your friends, but eventually that excitement wears off and people begin to lose motivation to play on the server. It starts slow with just a couple people quitting, but once people realize their friends aren't playing on the server anymore, it ramps up quickly. Part of the reason for losing motivation is because survival mode is so oversaturated and overused that it's really easy for the members of an SMP to just stop playing. That's why the biggest SMPs, like the Dream SMP, always have defining characteristics. Those characteristics can be anything from roleplay to adding mods, but there has to be something interesting in the SMP for people to want to play it. And that leads us to the second reason: not being unique or entertaining. An SMP doesn't have a unique concept or interesting events, it's almost doomed to fail. Many SMPs fail because they're just boring. People have played normal vanilla Minecraft for years now. A new SMP has to bring something new to the table for the players, and if it's a content SMP, for the viewers. Pure survival isn't going to cut it anymore. I've personally experienced a server fizzling out because it isn't unique. For the past 2 or so years, I've been involved in a survival SMP called Craft. It's basically a pure survival server based off of Hermitcraft, and every season, without fail, it ends up fizzling out. It starts with a bang, sure, and the server is completely full for the first month or so, but people eventually run out of motivation and the SMP dies. The third reason is part of the second. Like I said in the beginning, these reasons work in conjunction with one another. The downfall of a server can be linked to all 3 of these reasons or just one. But anyways, the third reason is that the novelty wears off. Whenever something new is released, people always get excited and there's a ton of hype for it. But hype can't last forever, and eventually excitement fades away. A server that was super cool and interesting on day 1 can seem bland and lifeless on day 30. And the less original a server is at its inception, the faster people will lose interest. You have to give people a reason to care about your server, and most SMPs just don't do that. And that's it. Those 3 reasons, to the best of my knowledge, are why SMPs usually fail. But you've noticed the video isn't over yet. Well, if you look closely, there's a key word in that phrase: usually. Servers don't always fall victim to these 3 things. It isn't all doom and gloom for a new server because these aren't server killers, just obstacles. There are great ways to combat all 3 and stay relevant for a long time. Lots of people have done it to great success. The best example of this would probably be Hermitcraft. Hermitcraft may have started many moons ago, and it may be a mostly vanilla server, but it's still very relevant. And that's because they're constantly adding new events, and because there's story and lore behind the builds. One of the most powerful techniques they use, which you might not even think about, is dividing playtime into seasons. That way they get a clean slate every once in a while, and they drum up hype and stay in the public eye. They keep the server fresh, both for the players and for the audience. Another great example of a unique concept and fresh idea in an SMP would be Lifesteal. Losing hearts when you die and being able to gain hearts from other players is a super new idea, and that unique idea combined with determined players and a dedicated fanbase keeps Lifesteal thriving. Oh, and Lifesteal also uses seasons to partition playtime. But the best server to demonstrate just how big you can get once you beat these obstacles would be the Dream SMP. Roleplay, original characters, emotional performances, and comedic improv all set this server apart. But if none of that got through to you, just remember that it's not impossibly difficult to make a successful SMP. It's just hard. So if you're watching this video and wanting to make your own SMP, don't be discouraged. Your SMP isn't doomed to fail from the moment it starts. There are creative ways around every one of these obstacles. For example, if novelty wears off, introduce something crazy into the mix. If people are losing motivation, create a competition. If your SMP isn't unique enough, add a mod or 2. Craft a story or invest in a community project, or even do something as drastic as streaming or making videos on the SMP. Keep it fresh for everyone playing and watching, and maybe one day your SMP will be the next Dream SMP or Hermitcraft or Lifesteal. Keep at it and create something incredible.